Ian, slow down. Where are you taking me? Giyu says as you continue to drag him along. I told you, it's a surprise, Tokira-kun. So no peeking. You tell him. Since today was Giyu's last day staying with you, you wanted to spend one more romantic evening with him. You told him it was a surprise and had blindfolded him before dragging him towards the said secret direction. Okay, but don't go too far. Stay close to me, he said, still holding your hand as you guided him. You couldn't help but smile fondly at his overprotectiveness over you, shaking your head as you headed further into the forest. Luckily, you knew your way around the forest, even though you usually have Ibizoi with you. For Giyu, it wasn't that he thought you were frail and helpless. In fact, he always knew you could defend and take care of yourself. But being a demon slayer, of course he was protective, and he'll be damned he wasn't going to let anything happen to you. Making sure to stay alert, he blindly continued to let you lead him into the forest, being careful not to trip on any tree roots or sticks. When the said ground was rushing water reached his ears. It's just up ahead, Giyu, you say excitedly. Fortunately, it did not take long for you to reach your destination, and Giyu could hear the rushes of sounds of water quite clear that he half expected to be the sound of a small creek. Okay, you can now look, you said, and Giyu went to remove the blindfold. What stood before him was only a few feet away, was nothing even more beautiful than a creek, a waterfall. It fell down the side of a hill in an evergreen cascade before reaching a small pool. The roar of water filled the air as Giyu watched dramatic ripples flow down large moss-covered rocks. It was even more beautiful in the moonlight of the moon, giving a glade of remarkable intimate atmosphere. Ta-da! What do you think? You asked excitedly, hugging onto his strong arm. It's beautiful, he replied as his eyes looked over the glade. Well, don't just stand there stunned. Come on, you say. Just as Giyu was about to ask what it was you're about to do, you quickly began to undress, silencing him. But first, he stared at you nonchalantly. But once your kimono and habija were off at your feet, you moved to kick off your sandals, his eyes wide in awe, yet darkened with, lust considerably. Smirking knowingly, you slowed down your movements, gazing back into his eyes as you let each layer of clothing fall to the ground to stand bare-chested before him. You could feel his like a physical thing, like a current caressing you with the thought of what you knew was come when he would finally give in to the carnal desires. His desire and your own only grew as you swayed your nine tails acoustically each movement of your hips. Let us face together, my love. You barely gave him time to reply before you turned around and headed into the water. You hissed at the cold temperature, but only temporarily. The rocks were smooth and slippery under your feet as you advanced deeper, only turning around once the water reached your hips. Giyu swallowed thickly when your eye-colored eyes glanced him once more, watching you dip your hands in the water only to trail them along your naked body, both as a way to acclimatize yourself to the water and tease him more. Naughty little minx, Giyu thought to himself. Your hands caressed your goosebump-stained arm, then your belly before, I can't say it here. His deep blue eyes watching you so intently that it made your throb with need and inner thighs sickled with, I can't say it here either. Yin, when your name fell from his lips in a needy growl, and you knew he had him hooked, line, and sinker. Come on, Tokira-kun, the water's great. You call in the same tone whilst giggling. And that was all it took for him to cave in as Giyu hurriedly pulled off his hori and began to undress, exposing every inch of his masculine body to your lustful gaze. From his broad shoulders to his muscular chest and broad abs that always felt good against your skin-colored skin. It's always a beautiful sight to see him naked. His handsome face and the depth of his eyes spoke to all his expressions, as did the lines of his old scars on his chest, making him appear fierce and strong like seasoned warrior before him. Yet, despite this hard exterior and emotionless facade, Giyu was capable of incredible tenderness, a dictionary that never failed to amuse you. Your lovely little mate. The spirit of the Omini within you hummed in approval. You licked your lips in anticipation as he finally discarded his, I don't know how to say this, but his, trousers and underwear, allowing you to see practically what effect your little performance had on him. That I am just going to cut out that whole little thing, because it's a no-no here. Once all his clothes laid in a pile next to yours, Giyu stepped into the water. His eyes once more roamed your naked and banished. I thought you said you were just taking me sightseeing. I wasn't expecting this, he said huskily, as now he towered over you, his warm breath fanning over your face. You knew I would not be able to resist you, didn't you? He adds. You shot him a mischievous feline grin, though you're half expecting him to grab you and throw you onto your back and start you like an untamable beast. But instead, his hands come up, hovering over the curves of your hips, reconnected to make contact, as if holding back his urges. His eyes are pleading, ripping with lust, and also uncertainty. Oh, Tokida-kun, you know me so well, you say before pulling away from him and started to swim over towards the rivulet of the waterfall. Giyu watched in surprise as you entered the current, seemingly to have disappeared behind its curtain of rushing water. Yin, he calls for you, swimming over just as you poked your arm out, or hand sensually motioning him to follow you. Ducking his head, Giyu entered the waterfall, and once in, he glanced to see it was a cave of sorts, lights of the moonlight sweeping in through the wall and the water cascading down in front of the entrance. Immediately, you embraced him while wrapping your arms around his neck and smashing your lips against his, your clawed fingers caressing through his hair, which now down and dampened with water, as Giyu wastes no time pulling you closer and pressing you against him. His tongue glazes across your bottom lip, and you open your mouth to let him dominate the kiss. Now, where were we? You breathe once both of you pull away, voice dripping with both mischief and desire. I knew some of you were gonna be freaky. But hey, I don't mind.